Ooh, boy, that's a long run of coax.
One of the most important decisions I need to make on this ground station project is where I'm going to put the antennas. Now, I've scoped out 2 locations on the property here that I think are good candidates for locations, but I want to step them off myself and do 2 things. First of all, I found these locations using Google Maps, great tool. However, what looks good on Google Maps might not look great when you are actually standing in that location. So I'm going to check the locations out in person, and I'm also going to verify the measurements that I took using Google Maps with a surveyor's tape, just to make sure that I know exactly how far each location is from the entrance box that I'm going to install, so that I first know how long of a coax and control cables I need. But also, this may play into my decision because the further you are away, the more expensive those cables get, the more loss you have in those cables, especially in UHF and VHF frequencies. So, it's pretty important to understand exactly how far away these locations are for a myriad of reasons. So, let's go ahead and step them off and see how they look. So this is where I'm starting. I've got my tape here. I've got an anchor in the ground, and it's right next to the location where I intend to put my entrance box, which is right close to the meter location. And this is where I have some other coax going into underneath the eaves here to get up into the attic. That's going to be the location that I'm going to pipe my cable into. So I'm just going to step this off and see how far the tape says it is versus what Google Maps says it is. To this fence line, I've got about 30, looks like 30 feet here. I'm going to go grab my anchor and I'm going to put it in right here because I think I'm going to be beyond the length of my surveyor's tape. So hold tight. I was actually looking at the wrong side of the tape. Here, this white side is in feet. So this point right here is 70 feet. And that's where I'm going to pick things up. And we're going to go ahead and walk this off and see where we get to. All right, let's take a quick look here and see. So 146. So that's almost 150. Let's get up to 50. So this is going to be 220 right about here. So right there's 220. Oof. Sounds like expensive amount of coax. Let's keep going to my ideal spot. I think this is right about it. So this is almost, so I'm talking 270 feet. This is just doggone close to what Google said. But here you can see why I like this spot. It's actually the highest point on the property. It is 993 feet in elevation, which is one of the highest points in the county, actually. So I do have some trees here, but I can get above the house fairly quickly. I don't have much significant obstructions outside of the house. I've got some trees here and there, obviously, but boy, this is attractive. The only problem here, of course, is 270 feet of coax. So 270 feet of coax twice, and 270 feet of control cable twice. It's going to be a little spendy to get out to this location, and it's also an imperative to have an LNA at this point. That I'm going to lose. Let's say I go LMR 400. That's going to, at this distance, I'm probably going to lose about 8 dB, which is significant loss. And that's LMR 400 or something equivalent. If I go to LMR 600, now I'm probably at about 6 dB a loss. But with that LNA gives me 20 dB gain. So I can net either 14 or 12 dB, which is significant. I mean, that's not bad. All right, let's go step off the other location. So let's see, while I'm out here, I'm going to scout a couple of other locations that may not be ideal, but they may be good options. Between that tree in the foreground and that tree in the background is where I just was. Now, here's another location that gets me significantly closer to the shack. And I probably give up maybe 20 feet of elevation, maybe not quite that much. That's maybe only 10 feet of elevation. I'll have to check on Google Maps. But this is significantly less distance, which means significantly less coax. So this is something to consider. I'm going to take a stroll up here to another location. This maybe gets my elevation back. I don't like this. I'm too close to the house, I think. And the problem with being so close to the house, that house is a heck of an obstacle. It's a blocker for any southern pass for about 30 degrees at this location. So not a great option, I don't think. All right, that's what I needed to see. So while I was out here, I thought I'd take a quick look at what this location here required from a cable perspective. And so it looks like it'll be just under 200 feet. Boy, if you can keep it right at that 200 feet mark, that's significant, right? Because you have pre-made cables that are already there. The cost might be a little bit better if I can keep it to that 200 versus, well, certainly better than the 270. So, all right, but this is just a bonus location. I've got good views to the south, decent views. Okay, good views to the east. Not bad to the north. And then the west, right? This is where I'm losing some elevation. You can see I'm losing some elevation here, but not so bad. And I think the other piece here is that I can get up over that house maybe a little quicker for passes that are coming from the southwest. All right, something to consider. Let's check out the other location. All right, we're going to go marching in the other direction here. This is on the southern side of the house into this pasture over here. Okay. This gets me, we're going to call it 87 feet on this side. And that's going to be 6 inches from the fence. So I'm going to pull my marker, put it there, that I have enough cable to march on out into the pasture. Hold tight. All right. See if we can do this without getting caught up in the gator somehow. I think we can walk her off from here. All right. I think I can probably cut a few feet out by getting this to be a little bit more direct. But the tail of the tape here, 139, so that's about 225. So this gets us 225. Here is my east view, my south view, my west view, and then my north view. And the problem I got here again is the house. So that house is in the way at least for 30 degrees. Yeah. This is a pretty good location otherwise, though. If I recall, I give up about 20 feet of elevation from where I was before. Now, I'm going to be on a 6-foot tower that's, and then I'm also going to have a 6-foot mast. So I'm going to get about 10 of those feet back. I'm going to lose some of it um, where the mast goes into the tower, but say roughly I'll get 10 feet back. I'm thinking I want to prioritize the north over the south because I am in Texas. I'm already pretty south. I'd say a lot of my operators actually come from this direction here in the northeast. There's a lot of operators there. Then I also get a lot of operators over here when I'm looking into the northwest. So those are things to keep in mind. Could move around just a little bit and get a little bit of a better horizon to the northwest. Doesn't change my horizon significantly for the northeast. Due north is about the same. And then, my southern horizon isn't bad either. That's just trees that way. Like I said, the fortunate piece is I'm in one of the high points of the county, so that's all helpful. All right. Well, this gives me some good information I didn't have before, and I think it helps me make a decision. So worth getting out here and stomping around a little bit. You know what? The more and more I think about it, that one location that I hadn't considered originally really has piqued my interest. I'm going to zip back over there and look at that again. That might be the winner. This is why you got to get out and step it off. All right. Let's take another peek at this. And I want to be thinking about it similar to how I was thinking about it over at the other location. Gets me up 12 feet, which is going to be significant, I think, in terms of getting up to a point where I'm not in the quote shadow of the house, but really clear to the south, pretty good here to the southeast, right where all my Florida operators are, and there's a lot of satellite operators down that way. Here, the easterly direction, no problems. Northeast, really good and clear. I mean, I've got some trees over there, but that's, again, give me 12 feet And all of a sudden, those angles start to look better, 10 feet, and those angles start to look better. Due north, I am losing some elevation here. That's the drag there. Here's my California operators, my Northwest operators. Now, here's another thing to consider. I'm going to be trying these earth anchors as opposed to putting in a concrete slab. And with those earth anchors, things become a little more mobile. Not that it's mobile, but a little more movable. And if it's movable, what's to say I don't put it out here for a couple of seasons on this side of the house and work everything to the north, northeast, northwest, and then pick up the doggone thing and move it to the south side of the house, and allows me to prioritize some other geographies. But here I am. This is the ideal location here, at least from a pure geography standpoint. Again, I'm on the crest of a hill right here. You can see things start to break and go down there to the west. Things break and go down there to the north. And imagine, give me another 10 feet here. I'm at 1,000 feet all of a sudden. Again, things are breaking down over the east and the south. Man, I think I have to just suck it up and put it over here. It's probably around $2,000. $2,000 worth of coax to get some LMR 600 out here. I mean, this is, difference between 6 dB a loss and 8 dB a loss. Or maybe I just say, you know what, get over it. You got 20 dB of gain, and it's going to be okay. Oh, what do we got down here? I don't know if you guys will be able to see deer down here. Let's see if I can. Might be able to see them walking around down there. Pretty grainy, but I think you guys can likely see them. Get out of that digital zoom where it looks a little better. Yeah, girls are down there eating some corn. Yeah, this just is hard to beat. So when I'm out working an important pass, this is where I come to. This is where I worked the Fram to Ham stations, where I was able to get, really great horizon to horizon reception with the use of that LNA. I worked Adam K6ARK from right here in this location once. This is the best spot on the property for sure. I do got a little highway over there. It's a country road. I wouldn't call it a highway. But there are some power lines out there. You can see there's a power pole right there. But I've never had trouble. I've never had trouble working from this location. And my gut just tells me this is where I need to be. What is deer doing down there? Kind of chasing each other around. I think this is going to be the spot. It's a great spot. All right. Well, I think I'm going to go in and review the video, double check my measurements, double check the measurements on Google, and make a final decision.
Okay, folks, I want to hear from you. Which location do you think I should choose? Number 1, at 993 feet of elevation with the best horizons, but is 270 feet away from the shack. Number 2, at an elevation of 983 feet, has good horizons except for the northwest, and is about 200 feet from the shack. Or number 3, which is the lowest location at 968 feet with good horizons except for due north and is also about 200 feet from the shack. Let me know in the comments below. This is the 3rd video in my Ultimate Satellite Ground Station series. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next installment. Thanks for watching, everyone, and until next time, 7-3.